Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and I am back at it with another video for you guys. We are back for some more Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest manga chapter reviews. And another 2 weeks have gone past. Obviously, the last week was a very interesting chapter, and the ending to that chapter was pretty interesting. But here we are now with chapter 75, and obviously where we last left off, Aquarius showed up to confront Lucy, and what we get in this fight is, I guess you can say, Lucy versus Aquarius. It was kind of a little scuffle, but I thought this chapter was a pretty decent chapter. You know, now I will say some people who read the manga might not like the way how this fight ended. Especially the fact that, guess what, it's kind of a fairy tale trope about the whole friendship and memory things. Some people may hate this chapter because of it. I think it's a pretty decent to solid chapter. I had no problems with it because guess what? You know, if you've been watching and reading fairy tale from the start, you should know, guess what? The friendship thing bond is a thing that, you know, takes place in this series and stuff like that. So the title of this chapter, or chapter 75, is Memories of Water, and rightfully the two people on the cover page is Aquarius and Lucy. So Natsu is shocked that Aquarius shows up and stuff like that. Now Celine and the other Moonlit Beauty guys were like, oh, who's that, and stuff like that. So yeah, now Toka actually thinks that you know, well, actually, no. Mimi actually thinks that's a yokai, but Yoko essentially says no, that's not a yokai, essentially saying that it's a celestial spirit, essentially, and stuff like that. So, yeah, now, Aquarius does make a mention of the fact that she can appear in Elentir without somebody using her celestial keys or anything and stuff like that. So it seems like in Elentir, like we saw, you know, earlier in the Lucy versus Mimi fight, it seems like celestial spirits, it seems like in Elentir, because the overflow of magic power is so much stronger in Elentir compared to Earthland. Now, even in Earthland, we've seen that, you know, Lucy's celestial spirits can open, you know, their gates at will at this point in the story. But it's still interesting to see from the standpoint, like, you know, they can still open their gates, you know, at will, you know, and probably and have no like issues and stuff like that. So yeah, because we even see later in the chapter, you know, after this whole chapter is resolved, Aquarius looks like she's gonna be staying for quite a while in this little mini arc we're getting here, dealing with Celine. So what happens is Aquarius tells Natsu, listen, I'll handle this, you know, this is my problem and stuff like that. Now, the funny thing is, Lucy's like, you handling me? Go, come on, please. Now, Aquarius, the reason why I did like this chapter was, even though this is a whole different Lucy, Aquarius treats, you know, Snake Lucy essentially the same, you know, as, you know, she treated old Lucy and stuff like that. And again, this chapter even further notes the fact that Snake Lucy clearly has a clear identification of who she is. She knows she is Lucy. She just isn't right in the head of the fact that, why am I doing this? Why am I attacking my friends and stuff like that? So yeah, it's funny because Aquarius does make a mention like, what, you trying to seduce some dude or something like that? Because she speaks of the fact that her look, because essentially she's topless and everything. Now, Aquarius goes out for an attack, but you know, Snake Lucy is like, I'm a water snake. You think that's gonna work on me, Aquarius? And stuff like that. And it's looking like, okay, Lucy might actually come back and actually give Aquarius somewhat of a challenge. It might actually seem that this might actually be a disadvantage for Aquarius with this whole thing, or they might even each other out and stuff like that. But essentially, Aquarius kind of easily like attacks her by slapping her. And easily, I wouldn't say takes her out, but easily starts kind of beating Lucy with ease, which, you know, it's funny because she even makes a mention, he's like, not even 100 years you could beat me and stuff like that, which I don't know if that's a pun because it's called 100 Year Quest. I don't know. But essentially, she's just slapping, you know, Lucy around, honestly, like a play doll, essentially. So I'm guessing by this logic, Aquarius is still significantly stronger than Lucy, even with this power boost she's gotten. So yeah, that is it's still an interesting, thing right there. It's still pretty interesting, the fact that, okay, Aquarius is still stronger than Lucy with this snake power boost. So what happens here is, when, I guess you can say, if you're a fairy tale fan and you read this chapter, or if you're a person that doesn't really understand fairy tale to this point, this is probably when you probably, by the time you end the chapter, some fairy tale people who read this chapter might be like, this chapter was underwhelming, this chapter was trash, and stuff like that. And essentially that's when they bring up the whole, memories of friendship and everything. And essentially Aquarius hugs Lucy, and she's essentially like, trying to make Lucy remember to essentially the whole, her whole past, the past history they've had. Think of, she makes mention, like, what about Nazu? I thought it was going to lead to some Nalu moment, but it didn't really. But she makes a mention, like, remember your past, remember all the moments we had together and stuff like that. Now, Yoko actually thinks like, oh, you're really trying to go for that? I'm sorry, but that ain't going to work and stuff like that. My witchcraft can't be broken by just foolish, means of that and stuff like that. But surprisingly, this comes in where the title of the chapter comes, which is titled Memories of Water. Essentially, Aquarius says that her water is a stream of memories. And she reminds Lucy, like, listen, you felt this type of water in the past. You have felt this and stuff like that. And it's a whole memory and stuff like that. And you just get a flashback to the many moments of Lucy and Aquarius throughout the series and stuff like that. Obviously capping off with the last emotional series, or the last emotional moment between the two, or one of the last emotional moments between the two, which was when obviously the whole Tartaros incident happened, when essentially she took out Margear's I forgot the dang move, the Allegria, at the sacrifice for Aquarius's key and stuff like that. So yeah, and eventually that makes Lucy remember, and eventually she breaks the control of Yoko, and it shocks Yoko too. She's like, no way. And then obviously Lucy's back to her old self and things like that. So yeah, Lucy apologizes for the way she acted and stuff like that, and then she also gets slapped. But the thing is, after the whole incident occurs, she turns back into her regular self again. Like, she's not in her snake form no more. She's in her regular, four-legged human form, I guess you can say. So I don't know if that means Lucy has some sort of transformation now. The fact that she can transform into a snake to give her an extra boost. That is not confirmed. I'm guessing that could be a theory people could come up with. Could Lucy transform back into this form, this snake form, and give her an extra boost of power? Because it honestly kind of similar gives her, honestly, is in a way, like, it's similar to Aquarius, or she looks similar to Aquarius, with the fact that Aquarius is a mermaid, and kind of the fact that she does look like a mermaid. So I don't know if that means she can turn back into the snake form at will. She probably can't, but if she can, that would actually be pretty dope. It would give Lucy a nice little transformation power boost, I guess you can say. It would be interesting, to say the least, and stuff like that. And when she does transform out of it, she goes back automatically to her Aquarius form. So that is pretty interesting and stuff like that. So yeah, she does ask Natsu where they're at, and Natsu's like, yeah, we're essentially in the place where Celine's holding us and stuff like that. Now, again, an interesting point Aquarius says is, listen, I don't need a contract or a key in this place that we're currently in. So, like I said, it seems like spirits, these celestial spirits, can just come to Elentir if they have a connection to, I guess, a celestial wizard, and they don't need a contract or a key to, I'm guessing, keep them in place for a certain amount of time. They can probably stay out here for a much longer time than they could in Earthland and stuff like that. So that's when Aquarius is like, how about this? We team up, like, for old time's sake and everything. So it seems like Aquarius is definitely here to stay. which again, building on that Lucy Aquarius relationship and stuff like that. So yeah, now Natsu does make a mention like about the fact about, you know, what's going on with Gray and the fact that he might freaking be in some trouble too and stuff like that. And now Yoko, she's wondering like, why did my technique fail? Like, why did it fail so bad and stuff like that? And Celine kind of responds by saying, memories, recollection, connections, that's it. Sometimes emotions can surpass magic and witchcraft. Now, I feel like that line will piss a lot of people off. I feel like that will, but hey, how long did the fairy tale storyline? Over like 10 plus arcs now? Listen, if you don't know the moral of this whole fairy tale story, like it's mostly about the friendship and the relationships you make with others, then if you're still gonna be upset about that, then I'm guessing, you know, I guess all power to you. You can be mad at a slot line or a device that they overuse all the time, but listen, Majima's used this device in almost every damn arc at one point. So, you can't really be mad. I guess if you want to be mad, go ahead. I don't have a problem with it. I'm kind of used to it. I know the whole thing about fairy tale. It's about friendship and stuff like that. You know, the friendship makes you stronger throughout, you know, stuff like that. So, again, it is an interesting point. So it seems like the way to beat Yoko's magic in terms of the people who are obviously like changed is you just make sure if you can remind the person strong enough to show the memories and the recollections and just, you know, make them remember who they once were, I'm guessing that can overpower the magic. So how that happens, and the chapter essentially ends off with Gray dealing with Carla and Happy, but the only thing where Gray's having trouble is Yokai Wendy essentially says like, yeah, you can use your eyes to make magic all the time, but it's not going to affect, or it has no effect on yokai, essentially, and stuff like that. So, or she goes on to say, when used against spirit power, the power of ice is useless, and that's where the manga chapter ends off. So, I don't know how what Gray's going to do to defeat Happy and Carla. Definitely, you know, he will beat him. Again, we don't know if Natsu, Lucy, and Aquarius will show up in the nick of time, but maybe Gray will frickin', you know, collectively beat them together, or collectively take them out at the same time, and then, you know, taking Wendy out too. It's funny because, you know, after Aquarius showed up, people thought, okay, we're probably gonna get the Natsu versus Urza one-on-one fight. Well, it seems like it's not gonna be going that way, to some people's chagrin, even though that is a very highly anticipated fight people still to this day want to see. I still want to see it, but it seems like what's going to happen is they're going to get the members who we see now turned back. So we got Lucy turned back. Probably in the next couple of weeks, or maybe by next chapter, Gray will turn Wendy, Carla, and Happy back to normal, and then then those five will all have to team up together. Natsu, Lucy, Gray, Aquarius, and Wendy will have to team up to defeat Urza, probably because she might literally be, you know, very powerful to deal with her yokai form, because we know Urza and her just regular self, she's still strong, you know. So maybe the power boost she gets from the yokai boost is probably something where Natsu, Gray, Wendy, Lucy, Aquarius, and heck, even Carla, who will probably get involved too, might have to team up together to defeat her and stuff like that. But I thought it was a pretty solid chapter. Again, it's nice to see Aquarius, and like I said, it's cool to see that Aquarius is going to be here longer than we thought. It's not going to be like the type of thing where she does her quick occasional like few, you know, panel, you know, shot where she just comes out of nowhere and she's like, okay, I'm here to help you out in this moment, Lucy, and then, you know, she dips back to the spirit world. She's going to be staying here, it seems like, as long as till this arc happens, till I'm guessing maybe they defeat Celine. But again, we don't know how long this arc is going to be. We don't know if they get back to Celine and they get beat. Ferris and Toka shows back up and retreats. They, you know, find a way to get stronger and then eventually, you know, beat Celine. We don't know. So again, it's pretty interesting to see where this is going. Again, I don't know again if Natsu, Lucy, Aquarius will show up to help Gray out, but maybe Gray will take Carla happy and Wendy down by himself, and then they'll reunite with each other, and then eventually, obviously, it seems like they're saving the Urza fight in terms of the whole gang coming back together for last. So just my take. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this manga chapter. Did you like the fact how Lucy got back to being herself, or did you not like it? Again, put in the comment section why you didn't like it. At least give a detailed response. Like, don't give the whole, because they did the whole friendship trope. Like, okay, fine. If you want to leave that, that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinions. But I'd like to hear something more in depth, like, and stuff like that. Where would you have taken it to get Lucy back to turn back to normal? So, yeah. Also, then, what do you think is gonna happen with Gray, and stuff like that? And then hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest manga chapter reviews going forward, as well as anything else Fairy Tail I bring to the chapter. Actually, as of this time, I am playing the Fairy Tail video game and actually uploading gameplay walkthrough content to the channel. So if you are fans of Fairy Tail and you played the game and you want to get my thoughts on the game, even though I beat it, I'm just replaying it just to put it on the channel. Check that out. I did upload part 2 of that today. Well, I don't know. Well, depends. This might be coming up super late to YouTube. I think I'm probably gonna upload it, right now it's Tuesday night, or it'll be Wednesday, probably in the morning if you guys see it. But yeah, that's kind of it. So that's really all the things I have to say for Fairy Tail content going forward. Yeah, so till then, guys, I'll get out of here. So yeah, you guys like the messing up. Anyways, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night, or whenever you're checking out this video. Well, again, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, peace.